Today I will talk about Memristor. In 2008, 11th of March, Hewlett-Packard Company and Stanley Williams from the Hewlett-Packard Company published a paper in Nature claiming that they have discovered fourth circuit element. What is fourth circuit element? So in the 1960s, Leon Chua proposed that, look, if you think of um, uh, voltage and current, V is equal to IR. Voltage and current is related, is proportional, and is you get a resistance. Similarly, Q equal to CV, stored charge in the circuit is proportional to the voltage, so you get capacitance. Magnetic flux is proportional to the current, so you get an inductor, that is L. So these three elements were there in 1850. It was discovered. For 150 years, people are trying to find fourth one, because if you look at this relationship, I, V, psi, and Q, these four variables occur. All of them occur two times. Only psi and Q don't. There should be a relationship between them. So he proposed Memristor, but in his proposal, he suggested that one can make four circuit element using the other fundamental elements, that is capacitor, inductor, and resistor. So that's why when 2008 11th March his proposal was made, I found that this proposal, this realization in a sandwich structure, normal semiconductor, and you see just work like a switch, Opshinsky switch, published by Opshinsky in Science in 1962. So I thought that this is a hoax. This should be stopped. So I wrote a letter to the editor in Nature. That time, physical sciences editor was Carl Gemelis. But as you know, Nature journals, they support the big guys, and of course the editor defended and said that no, this is somebody else will be interested who are interested in that story. So um, uh, so I thought that why not let's look into the matter. The charge and flux, can it really ever be equated? So think about it. If the charge is stored in the circuit and magnetic flux is generated, if the charge moves and magnetic flux is generated, then you get an inductor. But if charge is stopped, not moving, still magnetic flux is generated, then you get uh, you violate the Maxwell's law, because Maxwell's law said that you need to move the charge to generate magnetic field. So you have a paradox. So I went on, started working, and I found that if I have a helical nanowire, a helical system, all capacitor, something like this, and if those capacitors together forms a loop, if I make it in terms of molecules, loop, all over the cylindrical surface. If I send light, then those loops, current loops, actually the no charge, effective charge moves, because charge is moving in a loop. So higher the frequency I apply on the cylindrical surface, I can store more loops and more stronger loops. And when light will fall, light will split, and the magnetic part of light could create a hologram, and optical part will create another hologram. We observed it experimentally. I patented it in 2010. So within 2 years, I finished the work, and then we did it. However, the Memristor business did not stop. They were politically so powerful, they went on creating, and people started actually asking questions that this kind of sandwich-like devices and high conductance, low conductance is normal switch. There is no magnetic flux around or something. Then Leon Chua and others, by this time I contacted Leon Chua and I talked to him and I told him that this is not done, and many people started talking about it. But always remember, in the history of science, politically suitable, simple principles always become the truth. And uncomfortable, complicated, difficult truths are always rejected by the scientific community, because many of the scientists want to reproduce the work. So reproducibility is more important than what is the truth. Even though many scientists started arguing that it is a normal switch we know for 50 years, so this is not a novel device at all. And then if you explain every single property of the four circuit element memristor using other elements, then it is not a fundamental device at all. But who will stop them? Even now, a few months back, Stanley Williams published a Nature paper they are going to make a whole brain into the system. Come on, it's a transistor, and then transistor bell crossbar architecture, for which Stanley Williams is a legendary person. That's why his paper is never rejected from Nature. So what happens is that mm, uh, we are making just a switch in Memristor. They are doing it, but we worked hard and came up with a completely new and novel concept. So when I contacted again after 10 years, again 2017-18, I talked to Leon Chua directly one-to-one. And then I told Leon Chua that, see, mm, uh, in your paper, you have written that fourth circuit element, this memristor, can be created with a combination of length, pitch, and inductor, capacitor, and resistor. So if you can create it, it is not a fundamental element anymore. Then he told me, then you come up with a proposal. I said, this is my proposal. Then he said, you should give a new name. So it's another class of fourth circuit element. So I gave the name inductor. Inductor was my first provision, but so I started publishing in my book in 2020. I wrote inductor, but still now Memristor is mainstream science, and it is still publishing just a binary switch. No magnetic flux is generated, and it will never generate magnetic flux, because I moved to in 2013-14 from microtubule. I first saw the fourth circuit element. I patented it in 2010. Then 2015 I patented again, because this time I could create it in a helical nanowire, and I found helical symmetry. So my journey of as a scientist to discover helical symmetry, helical devices, came from the fourth circuit element. So all the processors I built, mathematical research I did, material research I did, quantum computer I'm trying to build, everywhere I use helical nanowires. And the fourth circuit element, but not the magnetic flux, but the optical part of it, because optical part and magnetic part that comes out of the fourth circuit element are equivalent to each other. And then we have seen several things. Even I wrote one chapter in my book in fourth circuit element as fourth circuit element inductor in 2020 book, and I'm continuing. So now we have created an extensive theory, quantum mechanical theory of the whole system. It is very difficult to make, because you have helical systems, and solving the Hamiltonian for a 3D system in a real term, in a fractal structure, that gives you triplet of triplet resonance, electromagnetic resonance band, and then splits the and it's a quantum mechanical effect, purely quantum mechanical effect. Fourth circuit element you can never realize using a classical effect. It's a must. So it was a long journey for me, but I found that it's amazing that even now people are saying that even a binary switch 0101, take a transistor. Who stops you? Memristor devices have nothing new than a transistor. Oh, it can memorize a system. Okay, even a shoe can memorize. You put a lot of charge in a shoe, it will memorize. You take a dust, it will memorize. If you have two electrodes sandwiched on in between a structure, it's a capacitor. So it will store some charge and slowly it will decrease. So it will get a higher level charge. And my doctoral thesis is on this. I prepared hundreds and hundreds of such devices in my PhD and submitted my thesis. So I can easily, I can give a guarantee, because people do best research when they are PhD student, guarantee that what I worked, of course, it was far better result than Stanley Williams and those Nature papers and Memristor papers, but that is never a fourth circuit element. That's just Obshinsky switch. organic switch, and I showed memory RAM ROM effect in 2002 2003, 5 years before Stan Williams saw that. But I understand what I'm talking about. Inflating and fabricating for marketing is not, is never going to bring justice. That's why 2008 it was published, and now to 2026, and the video will be recorded. I'm telling you, 2046 also there will be zero output from Memristor. Because where there is not a new science, it cannot deliver anything new. You may be politically very powerful and then campaign and create a sensation with Memristor that you are creating brain and brain and brain. Come on. How many people understand brain? I sliced brain in MIT in 2013, 2014 when I was a visiting professor over there. And then I saw that neurons are one inside another and then so messy. Those who tell that neural network is a circuit, they are definitely insane. Never sliced brain with their own hand. Culture plate, you don't understand how the brain is. But when you look at the actual brain structures, the neurons are just below, above, and all this kind of twisting winds and something like that. Who goes where? Everyone goes everywhere. That is the best explanation that you can give. And then somebody says that they will make the brain. Of course, I did my research for 20 years on brain, but we created it completely different way. Anyway, what I wanted to point it out, that Memristor, there are thousands of papers published every year on Memristor. Hundreds of faculties have been recruited all over the world in many universities, many research institutes. So much funding is given for Memristor, but one day this video should be recorded, should be kept, that I started this fighting against Memristor as a hoax in 2008, and the record of that email I sent to Carl Gemelli, the editor in Nature, is there. My conversation with Leon Chua in 2010, I have that record. I have record 2017-18, the conversation, and I'm telling with utmost responsibility, my PhD thesis work for 2001 to 2005 is Opsinski switch, and what they realized in terms of Memristor is Opsinski switch, and that switch is known for 50 years. Hundreds, if not thousands, of scientists and researchers have worked, done PhD on that kind of current voltage characteristics. Everyone saw memory, reported memory. I published several papers, including Advanced Materials, Applied Physics Letters in 2003. Bandyopadhyay and Pal, you can find. It's a normal, common, basic, preliminary, primitive device is marketed, highlighted, and published in Nature years after years, regular basis as a breakthrough. My question is, who is cheating whom? The young researchers, years after years, we are misleading them. But I also feel very painful and deeply painful that nobody comes up with a question that it is just current voltage characteristics. It's not a fourth circuit element. The beauty of fourth circuit element is charge and flux. There is so much sign, so much beautiful signature. A paradox needs to be solved. I will die one day, but I know that in science, truth is never explored. It's politics that is explored.